Welcome to the podcast where we take a deep dive into the stories behind construction business leaders. We will share how they got started, how they found success, and the lessons learned along the way. I'm your host, Eric Fortenberry. Welcome to Builder Stories. Welcome back, everybody. Today with another episode on Builder Stories. I'm here with Adam Jackson, the owner of Agile Cabinetry located in Nashville, Tennessee. Welcome to Builder Stories, Adam.
Thanks, Eric. Appreciate you having me.
Yeah, appreciate you coming on. So why don't you give us the quick backstory on what you do and how you got started?
Yeah, sure. So I got started in 2021. I started the business. I was let go from my previous career in IT. I was in project management and decided I didn't want to be in the corporate world anymore. So I took my project management skills in IT, moved those over to construction, and started a cabinet business. It was a no-brainer for me. We had just gotten done remodeling our own kitchen, installing cabinets and the whole 9 yards, getting countertops in there, trimming everything out. And it was just a ton of fun, and I really loved doing it. And so when I was given the opportunity to not go back to my corporate life, I decided to capitalize on that and start a cabinet business. So what we do is we design spaces from the beginning. So we start with a customer's total floor plan. In our software, we lay out all the cabinets. Those are usually the most important thing in a kitchen anyway. And so we'll start with those. And then from there, we add finishes and countertops, tile, flooring, whatever we need to add to the renderings before we sell the kitchen. And at that point, we get everything ordered and delivered, and then we install everything ourselves.
That's awesome. So Sounds like this is clearly a passion, and you've been able to build a business around something that you're very passionate about.
Man, I love it. It's the most fun thing I've ever done. It's owning a business is stressful, but the few good times make up for the many bad times, it seems. But no, it's the best thing I've ever done, and I wouldn't change it for the world.
That's great, man. Yeah, I hear all the time people kind of struggle to make that jump. To become an entrepreneur, to start a new business. But, it sounds like you turned what would have probably been seen as an unfortunate circumstance into a great opportunity where you're now able to go and do something that you're really excited about.
Yeah, it's amazing. When you're in the moment and you're kind of just getting started out, it's easier to feel sort of the stress or the pain of it all. But what I've discovered is that God has a plan for us, and He's always going to stick to that plan. We just have to trust that plan. And now I see that plan that took shape and formed, and I'm going along with it. And it's just it's been the ride of my life so far. And I've only been in it for a little over 2 years now, so it's just a ton of fun, and we're really really loving it. We're growing a ton. JobTread has helped us do that, and more on that later. I'm sure we'll talk more about JobTread and how we use it, but it has really changed our business too.
It's great. So why don't you take us back to the first year? Obviously it's always, they always say, your first customers are the hardest ones to get. Making that first $1 million in sales is always the hardest. Like, all of your first are typically the hardest. Like, who are your first customers? How did you get them? What does that look like, just to start from zero to getting customers and starting to build that business? Like, how'd you get it going off the ground?
Yeah, so the first customer actually kind of fell into my lap. And I'm sure a lot of people say that, but this one actually kind of happened that way. It was a situation where she had purchased her cabinets from a big box store. I won't name drop. But in here in our town, and she had posted on our local Facebook community group, which can sometimes be a wasteland, but in this case it worked out well for me. So she posted in there about how she was so unhappy with the experience, and to make a long story short, she basically just was not satisfied at all. The big box store had delivered her cabinets to the wrong address and delivered the other person's cabinets to her address. They left them in her front yard. She just wasn't satisfied at all with the whole process. So she was able to get her money back. But I commented on that post and I said, well, if you're able to get a refund from the big box store, come see me. I'll take care of you and I'll beat their price. And so she did. About 3 months later, out of the blue, she called me and said, hey, I'm ready to get started, and I got my money back, and I'm ready to do it, and here's my budget. And I said, oh, I'll beat that budget, no problem. And so she was actually getting particle board and non-soft close, just the particle board drawer boxes and stuff from Lowe's. And we actually were able to, give her a similar quality product with many upgrades, including plywood construction, so no particle board, soft close doors and drawers, things like that. That really, really kind of changed her outlook on the whole kitchen remodel process. And we were able to do it for less than the price that she was going to pay. So it was inspiring, but also a ton of fun at the same time. That was our first client in 2021. And after that, it just kind of grew quickly. And she told other people about us. And to this day, we really haven't spent much on advertising. It's mostly word of mouth.
Wow. They left her cabinets in the front yard?
Yes.
I can't believe that.
Not kidding at all. Yeah.
Oh, man.
And they told her, well, we can't get them, so just do what you want with them. And she said, well, what am I supposed to do with them? I don't have, I'm not going to rent a dumpster to be able to get rid of this stuff. I can't haul them away. And I think eventually she had someone come pick them up, but, we never did that to her, of course. So we had them delivered out there, and those were the days before we installed ourselves. So, she had her own installer anyway lined up. So it worked out great for both of us. And, she's been a great resource for our business ever since. She's referred multiple people to us, and we really do value her business.
Yeah. So you said before we installed them ourselves. So you started off, were you primarily just kind of focused on, designing the cabinetry and then, getting it delivered and sort of doing the project management, but were you leveraging like a trade partner or sub or someone to come and actually do the work?
Yeah, exactly. So what we would do is we would tell them up front, tell our customers up front, we will design your space. We'll show you the renderings. We will even be there on delivery day, and we can even meet with your contractor, but we do not install. And I really did that for a few different reasons. Number one, I didn't have a whole lot of trade partners in my contact list at the time. And also, I didn't really know how I wanted to handle the liability of the installation side of things. Sure, I can get insurance and all of that, but I didn't know exactly how to protect myself in the business. So I basically just let them handle the contractor part of it. It's actually easier than it seems like it would be for the homeowner, because they already have someone there that's doing their windows or doors or their flooring or you name it. They have a contractor on site, and that contractor usually said, oh yeah, we've installed cabinets before, we can do it. And so I would just come and whether they were good at it or not, I would stop by and make sure that everything was going in according to plan and review the plans with the contractor. We would print out the full plans for them and make sure those are on site too. So they had everything that they needed to do it successfully. And of course, if we needed to order additional trim, we could do that at a later date. But in 2022, it would have been about a year after I started the business, I started looking into doing installation ourselves, just because I wanted to bring that in-house. We were seeing a lot of inefficiencies when it came to having other contractors install our cabinets, and also some warranty issues that were coming into play. So we really wanted to kind of eliminate all of those things and just bring it all in-house. We're able to control the process now, and it actually saves our customers money because we do it that way.
Okay. So now you're still leveraging subcontractors, but they're your
correct
subs and trade partners.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we have dedicated installers. My two guys, Jacob and Dave, have been incredible assets to our business. They're very good at what they do. They are talented craftsmen, and they really know what they're doing. And it also helps that they're like 6.5 feet tall and quite strong. So, they're able to carry the cabinets and lift them into place without too much assistance from other means. But yeah, they're very talented, and they really help my business. And they also create that, they help to foster our relationships with our customers because they're also very friendly.
Yeah, that's great. So is there any other employees that you have as part of your business, or is it just you?
Yeah, so starting tomorrow, actually, which will be on a Friday the 23rd. I'm not sure when this will get published, but on Friday the 23rd, we have our first full-time designer hired, and her name is Sarah. And Sarah is going to be joining us. She does have a degree in interior design, rather. So she's very talented as well, and I can't wait to bring her on board and get her up to speed on everything. It's interesting because I can't really train anything in regards to design, but I can certainly sort of train and educate on how to lay out cabinets and how cabinets fit into a space. So in this case, I didn't hire a kitchen designer. I hired an interior designer to help my clients with selections and things like that. While I have a bit of an eye for that kind of thing, I'm not as good as someone who has a degree in it.
Yeah. So, I mean, how are you doing the design beforehand, or?
Yeah, still doing it all
before Sarah?
myself. Yeah, so I know enough to be dangerous, that's for sure. I do have a bit of an eye for it, but I'm not classically trained in any way. So pretty much everything I know is just by trial and error and listening to the customer. So we're able to take their sort of inspiration photos. Maybe they have a Pinterest board that they've laid out, or maybe they just have other photos they found and they kind of want things to look a certain way. So we'll take that information and use it in the design. But yeah, for the most part, sure. I just did it all myself, and I've built a business so far on that. But it's also helped. We did have a contract-based designer, someone that my wife and I knew from our university and school days. So she actually lives now in Liverpool, and she worked with us for a little while back in 2022 and 2023. And so she also helped design several kitchens for us and bathrooms for us. But she needed to pay a little bit more attention in other areas of her life. So that was okay, and we understood that. But now we need a full-time designer for sure. So that's where we are.
Awesome. So sounds like that kind of was the spark to leading you to go and actually hire someone full-time to come on.
Yeah, exactly. We can't keep up with our volume right now, which also kind of helped me make that decision. I realized I was losing leads and not giving my customers the attention that they need. So yeah, bringing on a full-time designer is a great decision, and I'm hoping we can bring on a couple more before the end of the year.
And do you charge for the design? Is that kind of what's your sales process look like?
Yeah, sure. So what we do is, and this is sort of a newly implemented process that we're kind of moving to. What we do is we will meet with the client first of all, and then we'll kind of show them the finishes and things like that. We need all of those decisions made anyway in order to give them any kind of estimated price. So things like wood species, stain color, paint color, whatever line that we might feel that they're best suited for. So whether that's Wellborn or Dura Supreme or one of our other cabinetry lines. So we kind of nail down all those minor details first, and then we get the measurements of the floor plan for them, and we sort of put together what we call a preliminary proposal, and we send that out in JobTread. That includes the pricing, the renderings. We show them a few different angles of their cabinets and their space. And then we say, okay, here's the basic price. If you want to enter a revision phase, we do require a retainer, and it's based on the size of your project. That retainer is non-refundable. However, we do apply 100% of the process, 100% of the retainer to the order if you continue to go down, continue to go with us through this process. So it kind of helps to establish a little bit of trust there. So we show them what we actually can do for them, and then we kind of have them sign what most design build firms would call a design agreement. So at that point, we've already kind of done a little bit of work, but we try to limit that to 5 to 10 hours worth of design work up front, and then we create that retainer and put that in place.
Sure. So does everybody move forward, or the majority of people, or how many people have you found sort of drop out after after you've presented that design agreement?
A majority of them move forward. We do win some, we lose some. That's a true saying in every business. But for the most part, they do move forward, and that's kind of what causes the issues with our capacity and how much volume we can handle just with me alone. So. Bringing on designers to help us out with that is a huge part of it. So, but yeah, most people do continue, which is maybe means I need to look at my pricing a little bit. But for the most part, they are continuing, and that also makes me feel good about the business and where we stand currently with our product offering and our the way that we use the JobTread client portal to interact with people and communicate with our clients. Of course, we also are able to show a quite impressive portfolio of prior projects that we've worked on, and so that also helps to build trust with our clients. But yeah, for the most part, to answer your question, they do move forward. So yeah, it's a great thing. It's a great problem to have.
Yeah. So you said you're struggling to kind of keep up with all the leads. I mean, where are people finding you? I mean, how are you getting the word out there if you hadn't run too much, hadn't done much advertising? Like what's doing it for you?
Yeah, it is. It's mostly word of mouth, which is insane. So I do track our lead sources, and most of them are referrals. We do get probably 30% of our leads from SEO, just Google and Google searches and things like that. Whether that's our website or just someone searching and they stumble across the top 5 in the area, however we get it, but most of it is referral, and that's a really important part to me. I do treat those referrals. I treat them with the utmost priority. Someone has gone out on a limb to recommend us, and to put their reputation on the line, saying that this firm is reputable and they will treat you right and they will deliver a top quality product. And so that is even more valuable to me than the Google leads, or through our website. So referrals are always top priority. We do work with a lot of builders and remodeling contractors as well. And some of those remodeling contractors are job tread pros, which also helps. So we do find a lot of value in working with the contractors and builders and such. They are able to provide us with a certain amount of stability, even in our slower seasons. Builders, like new home builders, they don't really slow down around the holidays, especially if they're spec home builders. So we're able to kind of keep our momentum throughout the slow seasons, and at least to cover overhead and to allow us to continue to grow the business even if it is a slower pace. We're able to use that to sort of bolster our business during those slower times. For the most part, it's homeowners contacting us and being referred to us by previous clients.
Yeah, I think referrals are your number one best lead sources. I mean, it's a testament for the quality of your work, for how well you've treated your other customers. I love that you say you put them top of mind, most important, highest priority for you. I try to encourage everybody, going into every single project, your goal should be to get that 5-star review, to get that referral, to turn them into a raving fan. And, I think that just sort of helps set the tone, from the very beginning that, you're going to do your absolute best, put your best foot forward in every single interaction. And, those referrals can be tremendous. I mean, that's the way Job Tread has grown as well has been through, those referrals and reviews. So, kudos to you for building a great business and doing a great job for your customers.
Yeah, absolutely. Everything you said is 110% correct. It's all about fostering those relationships with the customers who trust you the most. We always try to look for those sort of golden opportunities to impress our clients, whether that's through just an incredible rendering that they didn't even know was possible, with full color and very photorealistic, or if it's something as simple as just on the job site, just saying, hey, we've got a couple of accessories that the last client didn't want. We'll throw them in for free if you want them. Things like that really tend to make a good impression on our clients. Of course, at the end of the project, we always provide some sort of gift to the client. So that always helps a little bit as well. But for the most part, we encourage those referrals from our clients, and they're usually happy to give it.
So you mentioned though, you've got a website, you've been doing some SEO, I assume, maybe some blogs, some content. Like, tell us a little bit about, at what point did you start investing in, marketing, and did you build the website? Are you writing all the content, or have you do you have a marketing partner? Or how did you get that done, and when did you make that move?
Yeah, sure. So because I have a degree in IT and everything, I do come from a software development background. So because of that, I did create the website myself. And believe it or not, there is not a single blog post on our website. So I don't know how we're able to get SEO. I really don't understand where it comes from. But for the most part, there is no other content except for, us just saying, here's what we do, here's how our process works. Here's a before and after photo from a project. contact us if you want to learn more, so that's pretty much all that's on our website. I think we do link to our manufacturers, so maybe that's where some of it comes from, but some of the traffic, but yeah, for the most part, it's just a strictly informational website. I do have a sort of an initiative coming up to add some blog posts to our website to kind of boost that SEO as well, but for the most part, I don't know where the traffic's coming. I don't know where the leads are coming from, Eric. It's unreal to see the blessings that we've had here, and we're super grateful for them. But my wife is actually a marketing professional. She's a marketing manager for Caterpillar Financial, so the big yellow machines company. So she works in their financial services division, and so she does marketing for them, and then manages all of their web content. So it's helpful to have someone like that who knows what they're doing and kind of offer you some advice. But yeah, we're just getting started after Logan with I believe it's the Contractor Growth Network, if I'm remembering right. He had a little talk at Job Trade Connect about video testimonials, and so I purchased a little bit of technology, a little equipment here, and we're going to start doing that as well. So once we post some of those, that should help us too. But there's a lot of really creative ways to kind of boost your presence online, and a website is just one key of that. You've got to tap into all of the other channels, so YouTube and Facebook, Instagram. If you want to go down that path, TikTok, there's a lot of that kind of stuff. But you got to find out where's your target audience and then exploit that as much as you can. Really hit it hard and try to get the most bang for your buck. If you are paying for that advertising, if you're spending those ad dollars, but for the most part, we do it all for free. And while we have spent some money at local football games and different things like that, for the most part, we don't really invest in any Facebook or Google ads.
Gotcha. So you got an abundance of leads, very blessed in that regard. I mean, that's awesome. But tell us a little bit about kind of the processes that you've put in place to help you scale this. How many jobs are you running at one time? Like, kind of where are you seeing bottlenecks that you think you might need to address? I mean, obviously you've grown and you've gotten to where you are today, but how have you grown it, and where do you think you need to go to continue taking it to the next level?
Yeah. So the process that we have in place is pretty fine-tuned. I've done a lot of research on that. I have talked to a lot of colleagues in other states that would not be considered our competition, and kind of sort of streamline the process as much as possible, and that's where Job Trade comes in as well. But of course, right now, like I said, one of our bottlenecks is just the design phases. So we have preliminary design and revisions phase. Getting things ordered is not an issue. That's a quick process. We use technology to our advantage there. We import files from our design software into manufacturers' ordering systems, things like that. So we're not really slowing down anything on that side of things. We're not slow in getting things delivered or installed. Every once in a while we have some sort of hang up from our manufacturers and a supply chain issue or whatever it is. But for the most part, all of our bottlenecks happen in the design phase, and that's just because of capacity and volume. I can't keep up with it myself. Sure. So once we have this other interior designer and hopefully others in the future join us, we'll eliminate those bottlenecks. But we also can't grow too fast. That's a big thing. We've got to be careful. We can't grow too fast. We need to grow in a smart way, and we need to take the smart risks. I'm all about taking risks in business as long as they're necessary, but I'm not going to do anything that's going to put the business in jeopardy. So it's very important to look at what those are for your business, to kind of examine those, write them all down, make sure that they are a part of your business plan. Make sure that you have all of those outlined, and of course your growth plan as well. Make sure you know what your numbers are. Make sure you know what they're supposed to be every single month for every single year for the next 5 or 10 years. Have that mapped out. Begin with the end in mind is so true. You need to be able to say, in 5 years I want to be here, and be able to actually deliver on that. There's a lot of external factors that can slow you down, but if you're not tracking it as you move along, then you're not gonna end up hitting it. So that's a big thing. We really try to watch that closely. And I've gotten really good at that in the last, I would say, 6 months. But before that, I didn't know my numbers as well as I needed to, and that was another bottleneck too in our whole business. So yeah, it's just all about kind of taking those inefficiencies and turning them around to win.
That's great, man. I mean, I love that. Like, it's so important that, people build, an annual budget and break it down kind of monthly, goals from that, so that they are able to track, how are we performing, where are we underperforming, what do we need to do to hit this goal? Like, what does our top of the funnel need to be? I mean, that's so smart of you to do that. I mean, how did you get into that, and what does that process look like for you? Maybe if you could be a little more specific, kind of what are the key metrics that you're tracking, and how do you hold yourself accountable to them?
Yeah, so the number one is just our gross profit margin. Our industry, the cabinet industry, is quite similar to the construction industry. A lot of construction professionals and businesses and design build firms typically aim for what I understand to be a 30 to 40% GPM. So we're not really any different from that. We are also aiming for a similar gross profit margin. It does vary a bit depending on the cabinet line that we're looking at putting a client into. So we are, for the most part, we're trying to also be realistic with clients' budgets. But if you are looking for the premium product, then you are probably going to pay a premium price, and it's not because we're charging you more. It's because it costs more. So, it's always interesting, kind of looking at all of the metrics around growth, looking at the projections for the future, even if it's on a job by job basis or a project basis. You really got to be able to see, okay, when I'm in the design and development phase, I'm aiming for a 40% profit margin. What is going on? Because we're halfway through this project here. We might be at the end of design and development. Maybe we're about to start the actual build out or demo, and we're already projected to hit a 20% gross profit margin. What is happening? Why are we losing out on this money? And then you have to take corrective steps, corrective actions to fix it. So, that's the biggest thing that I have come to find out, I guess, that we were doing wrong for so many projects. Just lost a lot of money, whether that was from my fault or from external factors, whether that be just from prices increasing across the board for supplies, or, maybe it's just something as simple as the price of gas increasing. It really just, it takes a toll on your budget. Maybe it's things like making unnecessary trips out to the job site when you could just have another trade take care of that for you. There's a lot of things that we have to find where we're spending the money and where all of our expenses are going. So it's gross profit margin is a huge metric, obviously, that a lot of business owners probably are not paying attention to as much as they should. The other metric is going to be speed to delivery. So what's the first date that the lead reached out to us, or that we found out about that lead? How quickly are we getting them into the showroom to look at finishes? If I can get my clients into our showroom, which is not very nice right now, it's our temporary showroom, but in the future we'll be building out a much larger showroom about 10 minutes away. So, if we can at least get them in here, we can show them what we do, and we can already form that relationship with them. If we can form that relationship, we usually win that lead. It is not often that we are not going to close that sale. So, for the most part, if we can't reach out to them in person, if we can't actually meet them face to face, we do see a bit of kind of a lower percentage of won leads in that area. So it's a little tougher to kind of create that relationship with them. So for that reason, we don't do any e-commerce or anything like that. I suppose if someone wanted to order a sink from us, they could do that, without coming into the showroom. But for the most part, we're not choosing finishes or anything like that unless they come into the showroom. So, but yeah, close. What is our time to close is a huge metric as well.
Yeah.
I have a goal of basically closing 4 leads a week, four jobs a week. So if we can hit that, which we're not hitting it right now, but if we could hit that, then we'll be on track for our 5-year goal of what I've outlined. And so, that's the biggest part of it too, is using those goals to also help you determine where your inefficiencies lie. And if you know what you're tracking against, then you can sort of manage that a little bit better. But yeah, for the most part, you've got to have your metrics in place. And that's the craziest thing about JobTread is it helps us see all those numbers in one place. So we can go to the reporting tab and I can see that projected profit. I can see that projected margin, the actual margin, our variances. I can see all of the expenses in one place. If my subcontractors have those expenses as well, they can log them in there. It's a vital asset to any construction business. And I would say any kind of specialty trade contractor as well. Obviously I know there's a lot of like pool contractors as well as deck contractors and others on JobTread, and they use it every day as well. But even for something as unlikely as a cabinet business, there's a lot of other softwares out there for cabinet businesses. But this one seems to work the best because it ties everything in together with a great client portal, and our clients can communicate in there with us. And of course, the JobTread team, including yourself, are just fantastic support lines for us as well. And it's just it's been nothing but the best on JobTread software. We use it every single day. There's not a single day that I don't look at it. And usually I would say I probably spend 3 hours a day on JobTread. So it's where we keep all of our pricing, all of our renderings, all of our documents, signed agreements, floor plans for the trades, logged hours against the design phases of a project. Everything is kept in there. It's a one-stop shop for all the information we need. And I find myself using email less and less.
Man, you just dropped so much gold right there.
Sorry.
Focusing on your gross profit margin, really getting a good handle on your numbers. I mean, that is so important. And I find that again, a lot of people, when they're starting off, they don't really know what their costs are. They don't really have their price and their target profit margin dialed in because you're just getting into it and you're just like wanting to get any deals, get any deal flow and, sell anything at any price. And, I understand that, and it can be good to get some momentum, but, obviously as you've seen, and as many other successful contractors learn, you got to dial in your numbers and focus on, what makes sense for the business. Like you can't just go do work for the sake of doing work. You've got to be able to build a successful, profitable business. And that means that you got to understand what your costs are and how you're pricing it. And it sounds like you've done a very good job of leveraging, kind of the JobTread and the job costing tools in there. I'm curious. So are you also doing, all of the back office, managing the accounts payable, accounts receivable, doing the invoicing, or do you have someone else helping you out? Or, how are you doing all of that?
I manage it all. Don't ask me how. I'll tell you how. I'm up until like 11 o'clock every night. But it's an interesting process to use JobTread for all those things you just mentioned. When it comes to even just paying a contractor, I can get in there and I can see the exact budget line item for the installation of the cabinets. I can click on it. I can hit create work order, or I can hit create expense or bill or whatever it is after I get that invoice from my subs. So it really just it makes it so simple to do that. We really try to use all of JobTread's features. There are some that we're not using, but by far the budget tool is the number one. I mean, you can put everything in there, and the new formulas feature you guys rolled out last year is just unreal because we have so many complicated calculations with cabinet prices. We're having to add sales tax because in Tennessee here, we don't charge the customer sales tax on items that we install in their house because they become part of real estate. So because they are a part of the home, they are not charged sales tax on the price, the purchase price. They only pay, they don't pay any sales tax. We have to pay the sales tax on the cost of goods sold. So while we still, of course, include that into our margins, we have to pay that out separately. So all of that is included separately. We have to pay out to the state of Tennessee. We have to pay out to our manufacturers. We have to pay to our subs. And pretty soon here we'll have to pay, payroll taxes and everything else that comes with growing your business like that, workers' comp and all the insurances and things. But being able to manage all of that in JobTread and have it flow perfectly into QBO is just unreal. We do leverage Jessica McCoy, and she's been a great asset for our business as well. She helped us clean up the books last year and get everything straightened out with JobTread and the integration between QuickBooks Online and JobTread. So that's all straight now, and that's been great. And of course, she still manages all of the classifications of transactions and categorization, I guess I should say. But yeah, so she still manages the QuickBooks side of things. I don't really have to get in there much anymore. I just put it in JobTread. And when I don't, she hounds me, rightfully so. So, she comes after me and asks me why I'm not doing it. But yeah, it's great having an accounts payable person on staff. But for the most part, I manage it all myself, and I'm the one that writes the checks. I'm the one that handles payroll. I'm the one that picks up the checks from the builders or the contractors or our homeowners. So, it really it takes a lot of time to do it that way, but I find that it's a much more personable relationship with my customers because I do it that way. I don't want someone to just feel like they're just talking to a robot after we design their kitchen. I want them to know that I'm still there for them and I'm visiting their job site and I'm shaking their hand. It's a huge aspect to us growing our business.
I love it. Yeah, and you definitely can't emphasize the importance of having a great bookkeeper. Yeah. Somebody to help make sure that all of your books are kept in line, in order. It's so important that you get that set up very early on too, because I've seen a lot of people who they just, it's just an afterthought. It's very important that you've got a good clean set of books. Set that up from the very beginning. It's going to make your life so much easier, and as you scale and grow the business, you're going to have all the tools already in place to help you make sure that you can manage everything from accounting, payroll, taxes, all of that standpoint.
Yeah,
so good move hiring Jessica.
Yeah, exactly what you just said. It's from day one of opening your business, create that QuickBooks Online account. There's a version of it that's called, I believe, self-employed or something like that, or sole proprietor. Just sign up for it. And even if you just log some miles, and that's the only thing you put in for day one of your business. You haven't sold a single thing, you haven't bought a single thing, you just log some miles. Put that in there. That is, you have to start from the beginning. It's something I did not do, and I should have done it, but I didn't do it, and so that's why we had to basically spend way more time back last year cleaning up the books, and of course I had to pay a lot more money to a bookkeeper like Jessica to actually clean everything up, and it was just a mess. Yep. And so number one piece of advice if you're starting a business, set up QBO immediately, or whatever your preferred flavor is, but set it up, get it out there, make sure that you know how to use it, and if you don't know how to use it, reach out to a qualified bookkeeper either in your area or a virtual bookkeeper, whatever you got to do. But it's crucial because in order to grow your business, you have to know your numbers.
One of the other things that I want to reiterate and kind of touch on a little bit more, like you have a very good understanding of the leads coming in. The time that it takes is so important for you to build that connection and make that relationship with them. And you said you even know, like, the sooner you get them into your into your design studio there, the faster that you've got them locked down. They're gonna become your customer because you have now built that relationship with them. Like, that is so important to understand that people buy from people they like.
Yes.
And so however you establish that relationship with the customer, like, that is so important that you understand that and you can get that connection in place, because that is what is gonna be probably the number one factor that will determine if they're going to become your customer or not, is if they like you and they want to work with you, they trust you, they feel like you're going to be easy to work with, transparent. It sounds like you do a really great job of involving the customers early on in the process. I'm curious to learn a little bit more about how, it sounds like you're leveraging selections and helping them understand, hey, here's your budget. And so to stay within that budget, now we have to make a series of selections and choices, and every single choice can affect the budget, in various ways. And so how have you kind of, tell us a little bit more about how you've, incorporated that process into, the whole sales and design side to help, kind of lead them, into becoming a customer.
Yeah, so from the get-go, we have all of our selections kind of nailed down in the showroom. So they come in, they actually choose Whether it's one of these samples that I have here on the table right now, or if they're just looking for hardware like what's behind me. But we have to lay all those things out, and we do help them choose those things. We can say, okay, if you choose this finish, it's going to have a bit more of an upcharge compared to one of these standard paints or stains. So we have to kind of educate them on that front end. But then after that's taken care of, for the most part, those finishes don't change a whole lot. If they do, it's something simple like they're changing from white paint to a light gray stain or light gray paint. So, the price doesn't change. But we do have to still show them the difference, because some of our clients, I would say a majority of our clients, do want to still see, okay, what's the price difference between if I stain the island versus if I paint it? We have to give them those itemized totals, and they have to be able to see the whole project in one place. And so we put all of those line items into job tread. We create a selection. We change the settings to allow for selections on that cost group, and they can just check the box and the price changes at the bottom. So it makes it very, very simple to be able to do that. Of course, we do the same thing with accessories. So we'll put in there like a cutlery divider or tray dividers, or maybe it's a spice rack pullout or rollout trays, whatever that might be. We add those into a cost group in job tread, and in the proposal document, they can just check the ones that they want, or they can leave them unchecked, and it doesn't affect the price. So, that's the biggest thing about using selections in job tread. But, for the most part, you have to keep your client's vision in mind. You can't do what you think would be best every time. There are a lot of times when our clients rely on us to tell them what would be the right choice, whether that's choosing a finish or a door style, or, if it's a layout issue, should I put the sink over here or over here? It does make a difference there, but, it's our job to kind of guide them through that process in a gentle way, but also a firm way. We need to make sure that they understand that they're hiring a professional. We are a professional firm. We are not just messing around here. This isn't a hobby, so we are actually coming to the table ready to help them and offer professional advice. If we don't have that professional advice for them, then we're not truly serving our customers. And so when they come in here and they're looking for that advice, we're able to offer it to them. We try to capitalize on that when we can. Sometimes there's only one way to do it. And sometimes we cannot change the layout of a kitchen because the plumbing is in a slab and their budget doesn't allow for us tearing up their concrete slab. So there's certain things like that we have to kind of limit, but when it comes to selections. But for the most part, we are able to design it in multiple different layouts with multiple different finishes and kind of give them that pricing all in job tread and all in their client portal.
It's great. So once you've won the customer, I mean, how do you keep them involved, throughout the process and through the job? I mean, how much detail are you sharing with them? Are you giving them, access to the full schedule? Do you show them all the photos and the daily logs, or kind of what pieces, do you kind of, keep them involved with?
Yeah, sure. So if it's I would say what we would call a medium project to a large project, we do put a schedule in job tread. That schedule has everything from we usually end with the end. We usually begin with the end date. So they say, hey, my goal is to be in this new kitchen by Thanksgiving. And it's like, okay, it's October, let's do it. So we're starting with them, and they're wanting to be done, and we usually have to get it done by like the first week of Thanksgiving or first week of November, because things push out in the construction world. So we do put the schedule in there. We add all of the preliminary design tasks. We add the revision phases tasks. We usually account for 2 to 3 sets of revisions, and then we allot for the cabinet delivery time frame, installation, all of that, including final walkthrough. So there's a lot of moving pieces on construction projects, and the cabinet world isn't much different. So we have to kind of fit around the other pieces. If it's a small project only, if we're just coming in and replacing cabinets only, and they're not getting, countertops through us, or we're not, doing flooring or tile or anything like that, then we don't really use the schedule feature. It sort of kind of overcomplicates everything, just because the only really like 3 tasks that are in there is like, design phase, ordering phase, and then delivery, installation, and it's kind of too simple, and it kind of makes it look like we don't have any detail in there. So that doesn't look the best for our clients, but for the most part, we do put schedules in there whenever we can. And that really helps a lot. That helps people to feel like they're included in the process, like they know what's going on. And it also reduces the amount of inquiries that I get, the amount of phone calls or texts or, messages in JobTread, like, when are these getting delivered? Like, okay, it's in there. You can see the date. The date is from the manufacturer. I put that in the schedule and, we track to that. So, for the most part, we try to keep them involved with that. And then we also keep them involved throughout the revision phase. Before we order anything, we're constantly communicating with them to get revisions back. We usually request those in a batch. So we're not just saying, okay, you want to move one cabinet 3 inches to the left. We're not going to resend you new renderings. We need multiple changes to the design first, and then we'll put all of it together at one time, and then we'll send that over to you all at once. So, we kind of work that way, and it's the most efficient way because renderings take a very long time to export. We use a bit of an antiquated software. We're not using Chief Architect yet, so it takes a little while to get all of that kind of stuff exported and uploaded into JobTread. The fast part is JobTread, of course, but we have to sort of work in the most efficient way possible, and doing small little sets of revisions like that is not the way to do it.
Yeah. Well, man, it's very clear that you have a very good understanding of your business, the processes, what you need to do, to take someone from, becoming a lead all the way through to becoming a satisfied customer. You got a good handle on your numbers. I mean, I'm curious as you reflect back on the last, 3+ years that you've been at this. I mean, what has been like the biggest challenge for you to build this business?
Man, that's a good question. There's been a whole lot of them. Whether it's making mistakes on the job site or something's not the way we ordered it, and it's not our fault, it's manufacturer's fault, or whatever happens. A lot of damages and things like that in shipping. So there used to be anyway. Not anymore. We've fixed that. But the biggest challenge really has just been tracking our growth and making sure that we are on, kind of on schedule, on the right path. It's been also a challenge to know what direction the business needs to go in. I'll give you an example. When I first started this business, I wanted nothing to do with any kind of showroom. I did not want to build out a showroom at all. The thing that I'm sitting in right now, our little, sort of design studio selection center, this was never on my radar. I was so far against any bit of real estate or leases or anything, because I just felt like I could take the samples into my clients' homes. Why do I need a design center, to welcome people in? I would rather take the items to their homes and meet with them in their own homes. We can look at it in their own lighting and against their own flooring that they're not changing and things like that, and we did that for a really long time. And then my wife got pregnant and we were going to have a kid, and she said, you cannot store all of this, all the samples and materials in our house anymore. We've got to have room for a baby. So I said, well, okay. We were also meeting with clients in our own home and showing them our own kitchen and things like that, so that put a stop to it pretty quickly. And so back in January of 2023, I said, all right, let's get a showroom. So we found our little space here that's 250 square feet, and it's worked for us for a little over a year now. But it's time to get a much larger space, and we need to be able to put some displays in and things like that. But that's been a challenge, being able to let go of my initial thought process of having some expensive showroom with a lot of overhead and that kind of thing. We're able to offer a much lower price point and be more competitive if we don't have that overhead. But at the end of the day, it does provide a bit of a bolstered reputation for our business. It lets people know that we're serious about what we're doing, and it gives us a brick and mortar address to kind of meet with people at. So, yeah, it's been a big challenge also just to kind of let go of my initial opinions on expensive real estate. I'll still never move to downtown, that's for sure. We're in a suburb of Nashville, Mount Juliet, so it's nowhere nearly as expensive as a lease downtown Nashville. Some large fancy showroom down there, but yeah, for the most part, we still try to keep our overhead low, and that's been a challenge with any kind of showroom space conversations.
Well, look, I mean, I think as you're starting off, right, like you got to just, work within your means, live within your means there. I mean, it sounds like you brought a bunch of people out to your home, you're using, your own space, but, as you grow and as you can afford, to be able to, have more, tools and have the, the showroom. I mean, that's important that, you do keep investing in your business. And, obviously it sounds like the showroom has really turned into be a great, asset for you to help, facilitate the sale and to drive, that customer to be, to close. And so, again, everything happens for a reason. Sounds like you just, you had to work your way into it. I'd rather see someone, kind of start off small and grow as they can versus, come out and make a huge investment in real estate, but not be able to cover, the monthly payments. Obviously that puts you in a lot tougher situation. So, it sounds like you've done a good job kind of managing that growth and having very controlled, growth, which is so important.
Yeah, that controlled growth is incredibly important. We have to watch that so carefully because, like I said earlier, we really don't want to grow too fast. There's a lot of expenses that come with growing your business, and it's interesting how it all multiplies so fast. Just bringing on one employee takes your monthly expenses from here to way up there. I mean, it's almost unreal.
Yeah.
How much extra that adds, and payroll is just it's the largest expense in any business. So, for the most part, we do try to watch that carefully, but at the same time, we also have to spend money to make money. And it's a great saying. I love that saying. You got to spend money to make money. It's so crucial. But like I said, you do have to make those smart decisions and take on the smart risk. But if you do that and you put as much as you can comfortably on the line, you will reap the reward that is that you've made for yourself. So yeah, it's a ton of fun. But yeah, you do have to be careful.
So you said earlier you've got a 5 and 10 year model or plan there. I mean, what's the grander vision here? Where do you want to see your business in 5 to 10 years?
Yeah. So the goal is to be basically doing $20 million in gross revenue. So just top line revenue in 5 years from now. And that seems crazy because we didn't even hit $1 million last year. So, we were almost there, but not quite. So it seems a little bit crazy, but I was also doing all of that by myself. So now that we are bringing on additional assets for our business in the form of team members and designers and qualified, whether it's project managers or installers, all of those people will play a vital role in helping us meet that goal. And it's also huge to me to take care of my people. And so with my installers specifically, there have been times where they get done with the job and they say, "Man, I don't know about that one. That one's a little tight. We might need to agree on a little bit more next time. And so I take care of them in that situation if I can. So it's also very important to take care of your people. If you treat your people right, they will treat your business right. You have to do that. Whether it's even if that's just a team lunch. I mean, you have to treat your people right. You have to give them the tools that they need to succeed. That doesn't mean skimping on technology. That means investing in technology as much as you can. If they need a new iPad because theirs, is a little bit slow, or if they need a new computer, you've got to fix that immediately. You are wasting time. They are wasting time on job sites or they're, things are slow to find the information. It takes too long. Your clients are standing there waiting for them to give them the information or the key data that they need to make a decision on a change order or whatever it might be. You've got to empower your team, and so it takes a lot of money to do that. It takes a lot of resources to do that, but you have to do everything you can to make that happen.
Yeah, man, great advice. I really appreciate you coming on and sharing all this, Adam. I mean, it's been really exciting being able to watch you, over the last several years continue to build, your business. Like I love the passion, the determination, the meticulous thought and strategy that you put into continuing to build out, this company is just really exciting to see. And, I can't wait to see you hit that 20 million in sales. That sounds like a great, very great goal that you've set for yourself. And, I have no doubt though, because you've set that as a goal, and you're doing all of the budgeting and the planning, I have no doubt that you're going to be able to achieve that. And yeah, it's going to take some hard work. You're going to have to invest in your team, continue building everything out. But it sounds like you're well on your way. You very much understand what needs to be done, and now it's just about execution. And I'm just excited to be a partner here for you and to watch your business continue to blow up, man. It's awesome.
Well, it's likewise to you and your team, Eric. It's been absolutely inspiring to watch you guys grow from what was under 1,000 customers to now. I'm sure it's over probably 2,700 or more. I don't know. At JobTread Connect, it was. I believe it was almost 2,000. Is that right, or a little over 2,000 or something? So
yeah,
it's been incredible to watch you guys grow the platform as well. And what you guys do makes our business possible. I say that in the most sincere way possible. It is absolutely an incredible tool to grow your business. If you are not using JobTread, it is you don't know what you're missing out on. I mean, it is so much better than every other platform on the market, and I've tested pretty much every one of them. We did multiple months of testing per platform before we came on board with JobTread in 2022, and it's really just incredible the amount of effort and focus your team puts into the platform. We are only as successful as we are right now because of JobTread. Without JobTread, we would not have done anywhere close to what we did last year. We would not have impressed nearly as many clients with the client portal. We would not have been as successful with our project management and our schedules. And we ultimately would have lost a lot of money if we had not come on board with JobTread. So, it truly is an invaluable tool. And the price per month is absolutely a drop in the bucket if you are doing any reasonable amount of sales. It's just it's such a great tool, man, it's even for a one-man shop like me. I was thinking, boy, $200 a month. I don't know if I can do that, but it really has just proven invaluable. And your team is all to thank for that. Your developers are first class. Your customer success managers are absolutely amazing. Shout out to Michael, and he's incredible too. But it's really great to see all of your team work together. We were able to meet a lot of them at JobTread Connect, and can't wait for next year too. Can't wait to see you guys next week at IBS, and it's really just a great partnership between our business and JobTread. We couldn't ask for a better platform, and can't wait to see what you guys continue to do in the future.
Man, I appreciate that so much, Adam. That means the world to me and my team. It's hearing these success stories is what fuels us and motivates us. So thank you for sharing that. Thank you for coming on and sharing your story. A little bit the behind the scenes, the challenges, how you've overcome them. You're an inspiration to us and to everyone else out there. So I appreciate everything you're doing. For your involvement in the JobTread Pros community, for helping others. Be able to be successful. It means a lot to us, and you're doing great work, and I can't wait to see where you take the business in the next several years.
We're going to do it together. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks for joining us for this episode of Builder Stories. We hope you enjoyed the conversation and gained valuable insights that can help you in your journey along the way. Don't forget to subscribe to the show and leave us a review. And as always, if you or someone you know has a story to share, please contact us at builderstories.com. We'd love to hear from you. I'm Eric Fortenberry, and remember,